Welcome back. So if you missed last week's absolutely thrilling episode, I've started a program to not duplicate, but make something in the spirit of the old Next Step doc. And we're starting out with just one tile to start one program. That should give me enough of a starting point from which I can then create more of it. Okay, so let's see what we got so far. You remember that last week we had a little square on the screen. It had a button that could launch Styled Edit, and it had 4 little buttons for moving the thing around, but you could also move it with the cursor keys, and page up, page down, home, end. So I had another think about that, and I decided that those little buttons at the bottom were just too finicky, too hard to reach with any sort of precision, and that I was actually quite happy with the way they moved around on the cursor keys, so I took them out. Then I decided to do this. Now, there's a little trick there. When you create a button in YAB, you can throw a different view on top of it, and you can throw 20 other views on top of it. There's always going to be a button. And so there are actually 3 new views here. The first one is the tile, this one here. The second one is the icon. Now that icon is actually a 32 by 32 icon embedded in a 64 by 64 transparent graphic. And finally, I've got the tiny little view here in which I print out the name of the program that's going to be launched. Now that's already different from the original Next Step one, because I just decided against it. In Next Step and in GNU Step, what you get there is a full 64 by 64 icon, and then you have to sort of hover over it and you get a tooltip telling you what it's going to be. And I am not entirely in agreement with that. I'd rather just have it neatly typed here. This is going to be a problem by the time we have long program names like LibreOffice Draw. We'll just have to make a plan around that, won't we? Okay, so let's have a quick look at what's changed in the code. Let's move this a little bit. Okay, so you can see nothing much has changed here, except that, well, the way I construct this tooltip has changed, because that was really getting to be a little bit difficult. I no longer have separate tooltips for the different tiny little buttons, and so I have to make one tooltip for the whole thing. Now in version 3 you'll see that I actually made a way to only show this the first time it's run. Now what happens next is that we create a new view called tile view, and that we draw an image on it. And at the moment this is hard-coded, but that's something we will fix later. Then we write the title, which is at the bottom, and we've got a medium gray, so it'll work on both dark and light tiles, because in the future I am going to give you a choice of tiles. I've got a collection of about 40 that you can choose from. And finally I have the icon, which I then put on its own view. So there are 3 different views here, all on top of that one big Launch Styled Edit button. And there you can see the main loop hasn't really changed much. So that is version 2. Again, you can find it on the Git repository, and you find the address for that in the show notes. Thanks for watching.